So, yeah. I'm going to be completely honest here. We have got confirmation of what is one of the worst things that happened to Caitlin Clark before the WNBA season started. And it is confirmation that A'ja Wilson, who was at the time, prior to Caitlin Clark, the face of the WNBA, sent an angry mob towards a 22-year-old and knew exactly what she was doing. And by the way, I'm gonna answer every question here. Was tweeting the second Clark's deal got announced, what's delayed is not denied, and then made this whole thing about then started posting about how basically people of color will never get these opportunities. While whatever posting that. And a lot of people thought, oh, she was posting that in order to get a signature shoe. Because it did get pushed a few weeks later. Not only was that not true, she is confirmed. She had to keep it secret for almost 2 years. So for almost 2 years, she knew about this. So by the way, and if you want to say that she didn't send an angry mob towards her, yes, she did. Yes, she did. She even had teammates, even future Caitlin Clark teammates, saying, I might get a shoe before A'ja Wilson at this rate. And I don't really care about the players going on about it, but she doesn't have to. And if you say, oh, she is an NDA, there is nobody, and I mean no NDA, that makes it so that you have to pretend, you have to play victim and pretend you don't have a shoe when you have one coming. You have to stay silent. You don't have to, especially when you saw what was happening. You saw that every single thing, you saw that all of this was just generating hate towards a 22-year-old, who, by the way, had never played a game at this stage. She was a 22-year-old who never played a game. A 22-year-old. You are nearly 30 years old. You're nearly 30 years old. Knowingly sending an angry mob towards a 22-year-old player is awful. That's just awful. And by the way, A'ja Wilson deserved the signature shoe. She was the best player in the world. I think last season, Nafisa Collier was the best player last season, but the previous season, I think A'ja Wilson probably should have won MVP and Finals MVP. I think the unanimous MVP was probably a get back from her not getting an MVP that she deserved and finishing third place with a 4th place vote in an MVP she probably deserved. So I've got no question about that. She deserved a shoe. She deserved one before Sabrina Ionescu. Sabrina Ionescu did not deserve a shoe. Sabrina got that shoe because of her ties with Kobe. That is why she got that shoe. That's why they probably gave her the Kobe line. If you guys saw the way the Sabrina shoes were, with the way before Kobe's death they were releasing new Kobe's every year, they definitely had a bunch of Kobe designs ready to be released and gave them to Sabrina Ionescu. I'm almost certain that Nike did that. They just basically used her as a successor to the Kobe line because of her relationship with Kobe. That's why she got that shoe first. But A'ja Wilson should have had a signature shoe. It's harder to get one with Nike. If she was with any other shoe brand, she would have already had one. But the fact is that now you've got, that's aside the point. Nobody is questioning her ability as a basketball player. If you have A'ja Wilson ranked lower than 3 in the world, you are crazy. With how Stewie's been playing the last while, no, Stewie's not in that conversation. And you could say, it's between her and Fee, and then you could say, oh, Caitlin Clark's going to be better, but that's an assumption. At this point in time, Caitlin Clark is not better than A'ja Wilson. But you can argue her and Nafisa Collier is the best player in the world. I'm going to argue Fee. If you argue A'ja, I don't care. It's a close enough one. They're both unbelievable what they do. A'ja's the most dominant female basketball player in the world at the minute. But I just prefer the way Fee plays basketball, and I think it's easier to build around Fee just because I think she does everything. Everything's within the offense. Either way, though, it doesn't matter. It does not matter at all. And now we have got proof that A'ja Wilson, look, I've always said this, I'll always put aside personal biases when I'm talking about basketball. A'ja Wilson's a fantastic basketball player. Her shoes are great. I might, depending on how they're reviewed, I might buy a pair. I think they look good. I don't give a damn whose face is on the shoe. I might legitimately buy a pair to play in because since my Achilles injury, I kind of have to play in either Kobe 9 Elite type boxing shoes or I have to play in low top shoes. And they actually look good. They genuinely look really good. So, I objective in that regard, but it doesn't mean that what A'ja Wilson did was right. Like, it was just objectively wrong. On a human level, fuck basketball at this stage. On a human level, this is wrong. So she knew she was getting a shoe for 2 years, still pretend like she wasn't when they announced 22 shoe, leading to the hate train against a rookie for no reason. Yeah, that's the thing. By the way, the hate train might have happened anyway. But it quadrupled, like, with her pretending that it was like she had been slighted and all this. And you could argue maybe she was slighted by Sabrina getting one before. But doesn't give you an excuse to take it out on a 22-year-old. People offend her saying she had an NDA, she should have kept hush and not tweet trying to play the victim and make them attack a rookie. Yeah. 2 years and SC fan base, I don't really care. For 2 years, WNBA media went to war for A'ja over not having her own shoe. Meanwhile, she knew she had her own shoe. Don't listen to WNBA media, saying especially the ones we got here. The ones who just got here are the ones calling out A'ja Wilson for this nonsense. Like, that's the thing. She threw out the whole privilege card. She played the race card, like, and I don't like saying that. But it's a fact. It's a fact, like. Ain't no way unanimous MVP knew for 2 years she had a shoe deal, started hate training as a rookie player. By the way, her teammates abandoned the locker room because Alicia Clark got a max, Tiffany Hayes got a max, and Sydney Colson literally only cares about championships and the Aces aren't going to win a championship. Like, that's the reason. It was nothing to do with A'ja. They all like A'ja. There's no personal bias against her from what we've seen. Like, there might be, but from what, like, to assume that is completely wrong. But that's awful. Like, if you're A'ja and you're under an NDA, you can't exactly come out and tell everyone. But, ease up on Caitlin. I've got to come out and tell everyone, ease up on Caitlin. I've got to shoot the own work. What you can do is go back to your channels, to your little minions, and tell them to ease up in private. You can't do that because we know what they'd say. You know what you can do? You know what you can do? Not tweet anything. Don't pour fire. Don't pour gasoline on the flame. And that's what she did. She poured gasoline on the flame, and they attacked the 22-year-old. They attacked the 22-year-old. And then she continued to tweet pouring gasoline on the flame, knowing she had a shoe for a year in advance. You know what you can do? You know what you can do if you can't tell anybody? You can call your freaking rep at Nike, if you're a decent person, and go, yo, we have to announce this. You know the way, like, 10 days later, when she announced the, of course I have a shoe, not even 10 days, was it 2 weeks later? She announced the, of course, I have a shoe. Like, she announced the whole, like, of course I have a shoe, .com was the whole thing. And the craziest part is that Nike, by the way, right before they announced Caitlin Clark's deal, they had, like, these futuristic prototype shoes for their signature athletes. A'ja Wilson was on that. It was like, for future signature athletes, A'ja was on that. So it doesn't take a rocket science to see that Nike, before all this happened, posted a future signature shoe, like, kind of futuristic AI thing. Like, did all of that. And A'ja Wilson's name was there. So everyone in their right mind knew A'ja Wilson was about to have a signature shoe. I remember I tweeted that out at the time, and I'm like, they've literally made a mock AI, like, signature shoe for A'ja Wilson and had it publicly. It's like, of course she has a shoe. And then they waited, a couple of weeks to release the, of course I have a shoe.com. So A'ja Wilson used all the threw a damn pity party in order to hype up her own shoe. Like, simply put, like, that's horrible. That's horrible, because a good person would have seen all this, even if they can't say anything, not even to defend a 22-year-old. Because, in fairness, A'ja Wilson seemingly was pissed at that Caitlin Clark got her shoe deal too. She was pissed that she got the shoe deal. Evidently by the tweets. I could be wrong, but based on her tweets, that is the opinion that I have. Based solely off her tweets. Again, I'm not saying it for a fact, but that is what I would think has happened. But now you've got a situation where she said she's known for 2 years, and 2 weeks later, the of course I have a shoe.com was released with all of her things. Why not just call up Nike, and instead of playing the freaking victim, playing a victim, all you have to do is call up Nike, your Nike reps, get your agent to say it and be like, look, can I do this? Can we wait a few seconds, a few days, and can we announce that I'm getting a shoe? Because everyone is, like, it's a hot topic, me getting a shoe right now. And because of this hot topic, they're, like, attacking a 22-year-old. So can I just announce that I'm getting a shoe in the future? So that there's a lot of hype there. It's good for me, and it takes some of the heat off a 22-year-old. But no, instead of doing that, and that's probably, to be fair, that's probably the best thing she could do. There's no way she could have stopped all the hate towards Caitlyn. I'm not expecting she's not a miracle worker. She's not a miracle worker. Just like Caitlin Clark's not responsible for hate towards everyone else, A'ja Wilson is not responsible for hate towards Caitlin Clark. Except for the fact she poured glass on the fire. She poured freaking gasoline on the fire and made it 100 times worse than it could have been. And then, let's not forget some of the other crap A'ja Wilson said throughout the year about Caitlin Clark. Like, about Caitlin Clark and Caitlin Clark fans and new fans. Like, that's just... The fact that, like, everybody speculated that she already knew, and now she's admitted she already knew. It's a horrible look from A'ja Wilson. And look, A'ja Wilson's a great basketball player. I don't, like, it's very evident that this channel, like... And by the way, I don't claim to know A'ja Wilson on a personal level. What A'ja Wilson portrays herself publicly as, I don't like that. I don't like it at all. Because again, behind scenes and how people portray themselves publicly are two completely different things. It's two completely different people. So I'm never going to go and say she's a bad person. But the A'ja Wilson persona has done a lot of has done one absolutely horrible thing, borderline unforgivable thing towards a 22-year-old, and now she basically just admitted that she did it. It's not the greatest look in the world. But anyway, I'll see you guys.